We bought calls on Friday, and I felt pretty stupid this morning until we saw the rhetoric coming out of the White House, and that's what it is. We don't have anything to back it up. We don't know. The algorithms read the headlines. They drive the stock futures before the open and after. So we've been repositioning, trimming back on oil, adding to some names in the infrastructure space, and particularly in software. That group bottomed just about the time the Citrini report came out. We didn't know that, but we felt like we were seeing some compelling valuations. So.
Okay, so Art Laffer would sit on a couch, the same damn yellow couch. And the Oval Office looked differently under Ronald Reagan. And Laffer would say, "Excuse me, Mr. President, the markets." Who in the Trump administration, like in the last 12 hours or 18 hours, is playing the Art Laffer role of saying, "Excuse me, President Trump, we got a problem"? Who is it?
I think it's Scott Bessent. I really do. I think he demonstrated that after Liberation Day when the bond market melted down. Remember, Jamie Dimon said we were going to go into a recession, and suddenly they found religion. That was what gave us confidence to at least take dip our toes into calls on the SPY, just because we had some clients that were asking us to take a look at that. And I think for me, I felt like the weekend would have been more defining than it was. But then we see it again this morning that the president came out and said what he said.
Nancy, usually we talk to you via Zoom from Scottsdale.
Yep.
But you guys are having these crazy heat waves out there. Is that why you're here in New York?
Absolutely. Paul, of course.
Unbelievable.
Melting.
Even by your standards. You guys are
Melting.
desert. You understand all that kind of stuff. What's going on out there?
Yeah, it's just been wretched.
Yeah.
So
hopefully you don't summer out in the desert. Hopefully.
No,
good.
No.
Nancy, so what are we doing here? I mean, we put the geopolitics aside. I want to step back and look at fundamentals. The earnings look pretty solid out there in corporate America. Are they enough to support this market going forward?
I do think so, Paul. I mean, earnings are backward looking, as we know, but what we saw were so many triple plays of companies beating on revs, beating on EPS, and then raising guidance. So we think once you get the first sort of ship through the Strait of Hormuz, that we will begin to see a return to fundamentals. And if we are, in fact, in a slowing economic environment, then you do continue to want to own technology, which was putting up 20+% earnings growth across the sector. So that's where we've been adding. We had been trimming them in the summer, and we're adding back.
What did you make of this AI trade on maybe the other side of the AI trade, which is which companies, which industries, which sectors might be at risk from AI? And software as a service really took it on the chin. So some names that Tom and I like we see like a Microsoft really under pressure. Mm-hmm. What do you make of that?
We added to Microsoft ServiceNow, which was a little more controversial. Palantir. One of the names two names we had exited were Adobe and Salesforce, and it wasn't necessarily because we thought they were going to be losers, although we didn't think the Adobe CEO was pivoting fast enough. Mm-hmm. And in fact, there you have it. I mean, the stock has been dismal. So.
At the Breakfast Club in Scottsdale, if I was to go in and have the avocado toast in the back booth, the Tengler booth in the back, the guys up at the front bar, they don't look scared. They're retirees, obviously advantaged living in Scottsdale. But the answer is, what do you see from the core boomer retirement market? I don't think they look rattled because they've had a few other things along the way from Mr. Mueller's Vietnam.
We grew up with this. We grew up with volatility.
Yeah.
And remember, we were shifting. I'm a boomer. We were shifting to 401ks. I'm a deep boomer.
It's the pace of Scottsdale.
We were shifting to 401ks, so we had to live with volatility. And it was our money we were putting in. So I think the boomers understand the markets. Those were the clients that were calling us and not saying sell, but saying, hey, is there a way that we can play the shift in the trend when the market does begin to go up? And that's why we bought calls.